The Gregorian Reform movement, which helped work by purifying the church of disorder, gave the townspeople dissatisfaction with the church.
The Gregorian movement affected the church. The Pope moved against simony, but it brought out the townspeople for the role of the church's money at a time when papal tax collectors were becoming more efficient and educated. Papal supports inspired townspeople to voice their displeasure and want to remove priests for living up to high moral standards. Many criticism appeared in large audience in the cities. How do you feel about the townspeople acting on their own?
I feel horrible that they could remove such an important person in the church like the priest.
How do you plan on improving the church?
I plan on forcing sexual morality to improve church.
Well, there you have it. Back to the studio.
Gregorian Reform, which had to lead to purifying the church. Thousands of criticisms are being produced questioning about the church on how it will turn out on banishing the priest. That's all the news for now. Thanks for watching. In today's news, Arnold of Brenga was hung for rebellion, and the papacy has begun extensive campaigns to wipe out the Waldensians and Albigensians. It all started with the emerging criticism of the church in many places.
The criticism of the church found its largest audience in the cities where differences between wealth and poverty could be seen seriously. In France, Peter Waldo, a rich merchant, gave his money to the poor and preached that only prayers, not sacraments, were needed for salvation. Peter's followers, known as the Waldensians, attacked the sacraments and carried their ideas across Europe. The Albigensians' numerous supporters claimed that the real world was evil and that wealthy bishops of the papacy should not be religious leaders, but people who rejected religious themes should, and the papacy want to be pleased about that.
I'm here with a member of the papacy, Fred. Now, Fred, why did you denounce Arnold of Brescia?
We denounced him because he is a heretic.
What is a heretic?
A heretic is someone who holds onto doctrines that the church defines as incorrect.
And why is he a heretic?
Because he was a monk and a strong supporter of the strict clerical poverty in the northern Italian towns, denounced clerical wealth.
Is that the reason he was hung?
No, he was hung because of his part in leading the revolt against the Pope.
Thank you. Well, there you have it. Back to the studio.
The papacy doesn't seem pleased with all the new religious beliefs, and I believe that the papacy isn't going to stop until these new religious beliefs are wiped out. But for now, that's all the news we have for today.
Breaking news: St. Dominic and St. Francis gained support by the church, determined to succeed through ardent preaching.
Domingo de Guzman receives a sound education and was ordained as a priest. In 1216, the group officially known as Preaching Friars, often called Dominicans, it won over papal recognition as a new religious order. Francesco Bernardone, son of a wealthy Italian cloth merchant, he decided to live and preach the gospel in poverty. In 1221, the papacy approved the rule of the Little Brothers of St. Francis as the Franciscans.
I'm here to learn more about the Dominicans and their view. Tell me, how is it being a follower of Dominic?
Our lives and work are focused on cities and university towns, the busy centers of commercial and intellectual life.
How is it receiving papal support rather than opposition?
Well, we don't extend into criticism of the church as an institution.
Thank you for your time. Now let's go talk to Francesco de Berdion. Hello, Francesco. What is your view on this religion?
I see all creation as God-given and good.
Why are you against wealth and preach gospel in absolute poverty?
I'm inspired by two verses from the Bible that says, if you seek perfection, Go sell your possessions and give to the poor. You will have treasure in heaven. From Matthew 19:21. And take nothing for the journey, neither walking stiff, nor traveling, nor bread or money. Luke 9:3.
How was it getting people to follow you?
My joyful devotion on this mission attracted companions. I resisted to establish an order, but my followers became so numerous, I obliged to develop some structure.
Thank you,
Francesca.
Okay, thank you, Francesco, for telling me more about this religion. Now back to you in the studio.
As you know, Francesco and Dominic established being priests. We can now distinguish them from the friars.
The new Dominican and Franciscan orders greatly differ from older orders such as the Benedictines and Cistercians. One reason why the Dominican and Franciscan orders are different is because Dominicans and Franciscans were friars, not monks.
Friars, like the Dominicans and Franciscans, are men belonging to certain religious orders who didn't live in monasteries but out in the world. The friars stressed apostolic poverty, a life based on the teachings of the gospel, which they would own no property and depend on Christian people for their materials needed. They were called mendicants, a Latin word for begging. On the other hand, Benedictine and Cistercian held land and owned plentiful materials. I am here with one of many friars in the era, Harris. Now, Harris, what is making you friar widely popular, and how did you win the respect of medieval city residents?
Well, our missions to the towns and the poor, our ideal of poverty, and our compassion for the human condition is making us popular. Also, by living Christianity as well as preaching it, we won their respect.
What do you also do?
Well, we also address the spiritual and intellectual needs of the middle classes and the wealthy. Also, the Dominicans prefer their friars to be university graduates in order for us to better preachers to a sophisticated urban society, and soon the Franciscans will also follow them and hold professional chairs at leading universities, just like the Dominicans.
Thank you, Harris. Now back to you in the studio.
Friars are becoming widely popular. I believe that in the future, friars will form a new religious court, but that's just my guess. That's all the news for now. Thank you for watching.
Breaking news. Women wanted to come up with similar orders devoted to religious service out in the world.
Clare of Assisi became a follower of Francis, who gave her a place to live in a church of Assisi. Other women joined her, and they tried to establish a role for life in their community.
Okay. I'm here with Claire of Assisi. Now, Claire, what ideals for the rule of life are you trying to establish for the community?
I plan on following Francis's ideal of absolute poverty and helping serve the poor.
Do you think your rule will be accepted?
I think it will take time, but I definitely think my rule will be accepted by this papacy after a couple of decades.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Claire. Let's talk to Rebecca for more information about women taking an act on it.
I'm here with a laywoman named Caitlin. Caitlin, I hear you want to be a penguin. What exactly is a penguin? I was just saying yes.
Yes, I do. A penguin is a group of laywomen seeking to live religious lives.
Very interesting. Can you tell me what life is like for a penguin?
Certainly, penguins live in small houses called
Penguinages. I don't know.
penguinages. Some penguinages get very big and end up incorporating churches, buildings, and housing for several hundred women. Our spiritually focuses on direct communication with God instead of a saint of official church of officials.
Thank you for your time, Caitlin. Back to you in the studio.
Well, there you have it. Women are beginning to get more involved in the church.
Religious struggle was not only one of the crises of the Western society in the 14th century. The Inquisitions played a big role in this struggle.
It all began in 1233, the papacy used furs to staff its new religious court. Pope selected furs because bishops were said to be unreliable, and special religious training was needed to direct the Inquisition. The Franciscans and Dominicans developed expert methods of rooting out non-religious thought. Groups whose teachings were similar in so many ways to those of heretics were charged with rooting them out. One of these groups were spiritual Franciscans. They broke away from the main body of the Franciscans, ordered to follow Franciscans' original ideas of absolute poverty. When they denied the Pope's right to stop that ideal, he ordered them tried by the Inquisition. People believed that the procedures of the Inquisition was unjust and there was substantial criticism of it. I'm here with one of the people who were accused of stopping the Pope's right to stop the Franciscan ideal. Now, Peter, what happened as a result of not being accused?
Well, we didn't learn the evidence against us or even see our accusers. We were subjected to lengthy questioning, often designed to trap us.
What was torture used as?
I was used to make people confess that they were guilty.
What do you believe about heretics?
I believe that they destroy the souls of their neighbors, and by attacking religion, heretics also destroyed the very bonds of society.
Thank you, Peter. Here's Raquel with the Pope with
Here's
more
Raquel
on the
with-
Inquisition.
I am here to talk to Pope Boniface and his opinion on things.
Yeah.
What happened with the Inquisition?
I supported the Inquisition, but the late 13th century and the papacy came into a violent dispute with some of Europe's leading rulers.
Oh, how was the battle between the papacy and the French monarchies?
It was a bitter war of propaganda with Philip at one point.
Well, there you have it. Now back to you in the studio.
Because of the Inquisition, it started the war of the papacy against the French monarchy.